Peace, divine love, and abundant blessings. I want to start this video by giving my deepest condolences and prayers to the families affected by these tragedies. I'm not doing this video to offend the families of these victims. My channel is of spiritual nature, so my approach is always from a standpoint of spirituality. I'm not doing this video to claim that I've solved anyone's ongoing case or that I've solved the case in general. I'm only connecting some dots from a spiritual point of view. There has been and is a spiritual war going on. This is not the time, or better yet, this is not the cycle to ride the spiritual fence. You must choose a side because anyone could be sacrificed. There are only two types of beings on this planet, agreeable and disagreeable. If you're on a disagreeable side, sorry for you. If you're on the agreeable side, claim your covenant protection now. Being unaware is causing tragedies like this.
A Charlotte family is searching right now for some answers after a mysterious death in Mexico.
Queen City News anchor Morgan Francis has been digging into this story. And Morgan, we understand that you got your hands on the death certificate today.
Yeah, Brian, I did. 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson died a day after she arrived in Cabo with her friends. The family says her friends told them she had alcohol poisoning, but the death certificate I received today says nothing about alcohol.
I probably won't be at ease until someone's arrested.
Whether or not someone should be arrested in the death of 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson remains as uncertain as how she died. The woman, well known for her business braiding hair, turned up dead after just a day on vacation in Mexico. According to her family, Robinson's friends told them she was drunk.
They had a villa and they stayed there all night. They didn't go out at all. No one told the same story, so I never believed them anyway.
Queen City News obtained Robinson's death certificate, which lists the cause of death as severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which is instability in the uppermost vertebrae. In the section where police could have noted any sign of intoxication, it says, person found unconscious on her living room.
And they didn't call us to the very last minute. And then on top of that, they said the maid found them.
The group stayed here at Villa Linda 32, a property listed on CaboVillas.com. A rep with the company says the group called the concierge for help Saturday afternoon. The concierge called a doctor who gave CPR. Robinson died at 3 p.m., an estimated 15 minutes after her injury. We obtained a list of 7 guests who signed into the villa and called the phone numbers they left with the company. Some numbers weren't valid.
Please leave your message for...
And others went to voicemail.
So the death certificate has a section that reads, was it accidental or violent a death? Yes was typed into that section, so it's still not clear which one authorities meant to select. The U.S. State Department told Queen City News that Mexican authorities say there's no clear evidence Robinson was murdered.
Again, may peace be upon the families and the victims of these tragedies. I'm not going to show actual videos, only news clips and screen recordings for points of reference, being that I have experienced similar fatal violence in my life, and I found it distasteful and disrespectful to the surviving family members to have to relive that moment over and over and over again. However, I will give my opinion based on facts that have been verified and that I have collected. The first thing that I want to point out is the ending of this video. At the point that I made the video, they had not made any arrests because they couldn't be sure of foul play. Meanwhile, the world is watching an extremely brutal attack on the fully naked Shanquella Robinson. Now, an update since I've done this is arrest warrants have been made and sent out, and they have arrested someone, but it appears that that's because of the pressure from the media and the family of Shanquella Robinson, not to mention all the videos that's going on around the internet. I also like to know that although there was a gang of people around Takeoff, there has been no arrest made on him on his case either. His own uncle, who was there, has not spoken up about who did this to his nephew. There's been many questions surrounding this and many requests to arrest somebody because they know if they arrest somebody, then the truth will come out. But still nothing. Soon after Takeoff's funeral, Shanquella Robinson's case go viral and now has everyone's attention. And now not many people are asking those same questions they was asking before about Takeoff's murder. So let's get into this calendar and how it relates to both murders and another 3 deaths within this 5-day period of sacrificing. Now, between October 13th and October 30th, there's a preparation going on for the human sacrifices that will take place between October 28th and November 1st, which is 5 days and 5 human sacrifices, which is one human sacrifice per day, which is 5 total. No one is talking about the first 3 deaths that also took place in Mexico on October 28th. And Shanquella's murder was brought to light 2 weeks after it happened and directly after Takeoff's funeral. Shanquella was murdered on October 29th, and Takeoff was murdered on October 31st into November 1st. That's 5 deaths, one for each occult ritual days. Now, you may think that demons aren't real, but if you watch the video of Shanquella Robinson and then feel the chills down your spine, because even if you couldn't visually see them, the energy was definitely felt. I pray for your clarity and safety because you will need it to truly see and not walk into a trap like this. I'm going to be straight up. These were small time demons. And yes, I know that says a lot. But just to give you a point of reference of the bigger demons behind it, the ones that set this up and prepare the scene for these tragic events later to use the energy to manifest. Which is why on November 4th, they have what is called Satanic Revels, which is basically a celebration after they do these rituals.
This happened on October 30th, but I think that based on recent events, it should definitely be relooked into for sure. And now, verbatim. A trio of friends visiting Mexico to celebrate the Day of the Dead were found dead in their Airbnb. Candace Florence and Jordan Marshall, both 28 of Virginia Beach, Virginia, were staying at an Airbnb that they were renting along with Marshall's friend Cortez Hall of New Orleans. The group had traveled to Mexico for Dia de los Muertos, which is a holiday celebrated throughout the country on November 1st and 2nd. Candace was on the phone with her boyfriend that day when she told him that she started to feel sick. Then the call dropped suddenly, so he contacted the Airbnb host and asked them to check on the group. But when authorities arrived, all 3 of them were already dead.
Authorities found Candace, Jordan, and Jordan's friend Cortez Hall inside.
The General Attorney's Office in Mexico did not immediately respond for commentary at the time. Jordan Marshall's mother said that the lack of response from the U.S. Embassy was very disheartening. She also said that her son was a 12th grade English teacher at Rosenwold Collegiate High School in New Orleans and that he loved to travel. She said in his short 28 years that she could draw comfort from the fact that he did travel and that he did live a very, very full life. She added that as a parent, she worried about him traveling, but he usually traveled with groups of friends and she would tell him to stay together and stay vigilant, and that she never deterred him from living his best life and experiencing other cultures. He loved history, he loved to learn about the cuisine and culture and the people of other places, so she never wanted him to live in fear and not to experience life because of things that could happen.
We're just glad that, he did have that opportunity in his short time.
Cortez was a 7th grade teacher at Kip Memorial School in New Orleans, and Candace had a candle company. And she would have been 29 on November 9. So she basically passed away about a week before her birthday. That's just crazy. Airbnb removed the listing and canceled all upcoming reservations at the residence the trio had rented as they investigated. An Airbnb spokesperson said, "This is a terrible tragedy, and our thoughts are with the families and loved ones as they grieve such an unimaginable loss. Our priority right now is supporting those impacted as the authorities investigate what happened, and we stand ready to assist with the inquiries however we can." And all in all, their deaths were ruled as carbon monoxide poisoning. And like I said in the beginning, there should definitely be a reinvestigation because there's no reason that 3 people who didn't even get to see 30 yet are gone due to carbon monoxide. And we did some quick investigation, and guess what? Airbnb actually asked for all their hosts to have smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. Not only that, but they even provide it for free, as you can see on your screens. But let me say this, I did notice that Mexico law does not require apartments to have carbon monoxide detectors in their units, and this right here is where they were staying. As you can see, it was an apartment, so clearly it wasn't required. But being that Airbnb enforces it in the US, I don't think that's an excuse, because I feel like Mexico should be the same way. That's what their law says. It should be required across the board for all Airbnbs, period, because I thought it was safety first. On top of that, isn't Mexico only a drive away from the US? So there's really no excuses. Go get your free carbon monoxide devices. What? Like, be for real. Make it make sense. I feel like the families of these victims deserve justice. Like, Airbnb should be sued as well as the host or something. And I think that the Mexican law needs to be changed immediately because as much Americans or gringos that spend their hard-earned money out there on a daily and choose Mexico as their vacation site, there's no reason that in return, Americans and anybody for that matter should not be protected by a device that only costs about $15. Like, be for real. These guests are spending thousands on thousands between the flights, rentals, food, etc. So stop playing with their lives. Like carbon monoxide is odorless, so it's a silent killer. So with that said, why not protect your guests with something that's so cheap that's going to save their lives? Like make it make some sense. And for anybody watching this who likes to travel and vacation in Airbnb or whatever, we highly advise that you make sure your listing has a smoke alarm, a carbon monoxide detector, and all that. And for all of y'all who have one in your home, make sure it's not dead and that you change the batteries often. Shoot, I'm about to go check on mine right now. But rest in peace to these three souls who were just trying to live their lives and have fun, who were also impactful. You know, they were educators and an entrepreneur.
Was a creator and a force to be reckoned with.
And they should still be here. Justice for them.
They couldn't even get into the Airbnb to get his things.
His wallet, his laptop.
Okay, as you just heard, two of the three victims were 28 at the time of their passing, which was also on the 28th day of October. Takeoff was also 28 years old at the time of his murder. The number 28 in the occult is considered a magic number. In gematria, koak, meaning power and energy, also corresponds to the number 28. In numerology, it signifies leadership, independence, and ownership. I think we can all agree that all five of these victims, what they had in common was what we call false energy. So I want to state again, may peace be upon these souls and their families. It's just that something demonic is going on. And these murders should serve as an eye opener for several reasons. Look up walk ins, look up demon possessions, occult mind control tactics, subliminal programming, and look up the full occult ritual calendar that I put on this post. Um, and then start to pay attention to the dates. Pay attention to the things that happen around these dates, on these dates. They're not just drawing off the energy of these victims, they're drawing off the energy that we put out in relation to this energy when we absorb the energy of these real ritualistic deaths. Um, but tell me what you think. If you have other information about these cases or about these type of rituals, add it to the comments, or let's get this information out there. Like, people we need to know, and maybe we can avoid some of these pitfalls. Peace.